Hello, here is BB Walker. I hope you're doing well. Today I promised video about FL Studio and Yamaha PSR keyboards. Today I have made some improvements in my equipment to work convenient with computer and the Yamaha itself at the same time. So if you are interested in topics, how to record drums, how to use MIDI with FL Studio to do very advanced features, just give me a moment and we will start soon. Alright, so today is a very experimental and new setup in my studio. We will be exploring stuff with computers, FL Studio software, but also other software you have requested. But today is a special video for Igor Cukrov, which asked several months ago about the possibility to record style from Yamaha, the MIDI signal to FL Studio, for further recording and playing with those drum sets especially. And it was very interesting topic for me, but I didn't have enough time to explore it and make a presentation for you about the MIDI and drums, working together from keyboards to DAW software like FL Studio, Ableton, and so on. Okay, so for the beginning, cables. Of course, we need a USB-A from one side, and to Yamaha, you are connecting it using USB-B cable, which looks like this. This is the standard cable that you connect most of the keyboards, workstations, arranger, loopers. For example, my Boss RC505, which is here, also uses this USB-B to A cable, and A cable goes to computer. So today I will be showing you all the steps that you do from the beginning to the end, because there's a lot of videos in the internet that shows some tutorials, but they didn't explain all the details. So I'm connecting USB. We are doing completely start from scratch. And what can we see on the this is FL Studio 20 version. There will be some problems with the screen maybe, but this is the standard FL Studio 20 complete new project, I mean default project, when you can see kicks and a standard scene, and we will configure all the stuff to achieve the following goal. Basically, our goal today is to transfer data, MIDI data, and the Yamaha keyboard is connected only, the looper, the studio monitor, everything is disconnected. I'm using the internal speaker of Yamaha and the internal speakers of computer to show you. So this is the pretty minimalistic setup. All the other gear you see is disabled. So I'm only using the computer and the Yamaha and this USB cable. So basically, if you start a style like this Canadian rock or any other, we want to transfer it from the Yamaha, so it produces MIDI data and send it to FL Studio and capture those data on one channel to have this, hi-hats, drum pads, kicks and snares in a piano roll. Okay, so first is the configuration of the MIDI. We are pressing function. And we go to the section called MIDI. I have prepared my own preset for FL Studio. I also have a preset for looper and so on, but you can start from the built-in presets and then save it to your own file. This presets, it's convenient way to load the configuration from memory and save it, because depending on which devices you are working, if the master clock is in here or the master clock is external, you probably have several different configuration options. So I will show you my setup for the cooperation working with Loop Station. Not Loop Station, FL Studio. So basically, what can we do in here? Clock will be internal. I don't want to set the clock from USB. Of course, there is also a huge topic about the MIDI clock synchronization. I will link it. You can check it with the Sorry, you can check it how I'm doing it with Looper. It's great to do with Looper. However, the MIDI settings are here on this system. It's basically transmitting clock. Would you like to send clock data or just receive clock data, or just have it separated? I mean, internal clock in here, which means leave my clock. I will set my own BPM inside here and do not transmit clock data, so the software and computer also won't be receiving my data. And in this case, we will be doing it manually, so basically we will be setting the same BPM on both sides. Using tabs, you're going to another tab, which is transmit. And on this tab, you can see which data are sent from the device to another external device. And there was also a question, I don't remember the guy who asked it, about the channels and the ports and the styles and how they are connected. So basically, MIDI standard is usually 16 channels per port. I mean, port is a physical connection. USB cable gives you 2 ports. I mean, it's bidirectional, so it holds sorry, it holds 2 ports for input and output. Also, at some devices like this Yamaha even provides more than 1 port, and they have 2 output ports. So you could put, for example, song to another port and put the style or just data from right, left channel. So as you can see now, if I'm playing the Yamaha, it automatically shows you which port I'm playing. So the right one is port number 1, it's port number 1 and channel number 1. So it automatically sends those data out. And as you can see now on you can see this hi-hat clicking because the snare is selected here, and I have set and configured in options the MIDI settings. I have said that we have enabled this digital keyboard. So this is basically the input controller. So each device like this is both input and output controller. So if I disable it, we won't be hearing this in here, but we will go to the computer in a moment. Now let's stick to the device, to the Yamaha, to explain you all and troubleshoot all the things that you have. So basically, as you can see, if I'm playing right one, I'm sending channel number 1 because the configuration on transmit section, the transmit, so pay attention, the transmit is the data that is going out from the device, from the Yamaha, from the keyboard, and the receive, next tab, is the data that comes back. And we also can use it thanks to MIDI routing in computer. You could do a lot of interesting things. You can, loop back the data, so you can receive it in one way and then use it to play it back in another. But today's video is about capturing the drums data. Okay, so I'm showing you first channel, because it is configured. Of course, you can change this configuration, but what happens if you press and style the and start? If we press the start and stop of our style, as you can see, this 1, 2, 3, 4, this drum sections goes over 1 channel, which is 10. Of course, there are styles that produces more channels, but the default for drums is 10, is channel number 10, and then it goes up 11 and so on. Some drum sections are even over 2 or more channels. In MIDI standard, actually 1 channel is reserved for 1 voice, like piano. If we have a generic MIDI, gives you some patches. So for example, grand piano is number 1, strings is number some and so on and so on. But there is a let's call it agreement between the devices that drums data are sent as notes. I mean, those are notes, C, D, E, etc. But if you change to drum set, each note will be another drum symbol, so kick, snare, and so on. And I will show you it for a moment, but let's continue to configuration. So basically, what I'm showing you that the MIDI data from styles is transmitted using the channel number 10. It's not very important. I mean, it's important if you will be receiving simultaneously many channels, because you need to configure the explicit channel. But in the DAW software, you can, listen wide all the channels. So basically, receive, we leave all those features together. System is like this. And now we are ready to play. So now let's go to computer and check what do we need to do in a computer to have this, everything working like it should be. Right, so a little bit reconfiguration. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, the settings for if you connect the devices, I mean use this cable to connect and start the software, you should see two devices for output MIDI hardware ports, which means that the Yamaha can listen on two separate MIDI ports. I used to configure them as the port number 1, and the second is the port number 2. It's important to configure the MIDI output routing and so on. But for us, the most important now to recording, to receive, is to set the MIDI keyboard enabled as the input section. This is input section, you can see in here, and our generic controller, digital keyboard 1, is nothing more than a Yamaha. How to check if it works? So basically, as you can hear now, if I'm enabling it, you could close this for a moment and debug if it worked properly. So basically, if you set a kick or any other layer in here in a channel rack, you will see I'm pressing and it's playing. So it's okay. I mean, it means that the configuration and the communication is working. Also in here, on this section, you will see the incoming data. You can also go to view, and by the debugging, where are you? Debugging log in info section in the options, you will see all the data transmitted. So C7, note on C7, now B6. So this is very crucial if you will be transferring the style, the drums, for example. And now I will press start and you will see what happened. Bam, 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 bam. Our drums is going in the debugging log. Of course, here there's only kicks, but this is basically how we will be doing it. Okay, so now I'm stopped. Now I'm stopped the style, and let's go to configure. Okay, so as I said and as you can see here in this debugging log, the drums data are sent as notes, but we need a special instrument to interpret sounds like drum cymbal. And this special plugin, this special kind of VST is called, I will show you, so let's close it, let's zoom out. Okay, I know it's not perfect, but I think it shows you the operation. I don't want to record the screen and fix it in post-production. It's a lot of problems with synchronization. Okay, so we will replace this this channel with something which is called FPC. FPC. It's lovely VST pads for MIDI controllers and playing drums. So if you press kick, it plays kick, snare, and so on. The biggest advantage of this module, of this plugin, is that it's fully configurable, so you could attach your special drums mapping to the way that you want. Okay, And now we could play the style on Yamaha and check what is going to happen on the computer. Play. Wow. Almost everything is okay. I mean, hi-hat is... Hi-hat, snare, and close hi-hat are working. There's only one problem with the main kick. And why this happened? Okay, so basically, in a standard drum set using MIDI, you can do it on your Yamaha to explore how it works. So you press drum kit in here and select the first default symbol. And now, as you can see, most of them are compatible with those here. And we need to fix our mapping to match the drum kit from the style. How to do this? Well, you can use a debug window in options, debugging log, play some part of the style and see which notes are playing. So let's reset. It's possible to clear. Okay, let's play some section. Okay, so you will see that our notes are B2, F sharp, 3, B2, F sharp, and so on. So B2 is here. It's a kick. It's a kick in standard, but in this style, it's another kick. So how to replace the drum, this kick, to work as B2? So now the magic will happen. I need to zoom a little bit. So you are selecting by clicking this. And here you get the main note C3, which means this is mapped to C3. And we change it. It's a bass drum 1. We will change it to B3. I hope it's seen. This is standard symbols mapped to notes. And our kick will be mapped to acoustic bass drum. B2. Okay, let's try it. So now I play the style. As you can see, the kick is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So believe me or not, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Stop. So now I have shown you how to use FPC module, how to rechange, how to debug which notes are used in our style, and how to change the mappings so you could be able to capture our rhythm section into piano roll into channel rack. Okay, so how to do this in next step? We are almost ready. And now what I will do, I will expand the pattern length to some longer pattern. Let's check the tempo. It's 150. I propose to change it to 110. And the same we set here, because I don't want to set up 100. So I will change the tempo, using tempo, to 110. Why this is crucial? Because you won't be hitting the proper bars in here. And then we will try to record this section. So we enable record, and by the question what do you want to record, we change notes and automation. Basically we won't be recording audio here, only notes and automation, which means the MIDI data in general. So notes and automation. I will also tick the pre-recorder. 1, 2, 3, 4 will be counting from me, and then I will, and of course the selected channel should be our FPC, and this is basically the moment when I start record. Then I will hit the play on the, I will try to show you all those steps now. Okay, you will be able to see everything. Okay, so now in a moment I will hit record in here, which is here, and we hit play, and of course we're recording pattern, not song, pattern, and then we'll be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 bar. And I think it's enough. We only need 1 bar, 2 bar. If you want to capture the feels and so on, just, you know, you could continue it. But I'm showing you some licks and how this works. And now let's check what do we have recorded. Okay, I need to work over this. So let's try to disable the recording. So untick this and play. Of course, we need to go to the beginning and shrink our pattern length to some 24 divided by 4, because this is the rhythm 4/4. We got 6 bars. Let's try to listen it. 1, 2. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. There was some problems at the beginning, I can hear, because we are not perfectly in loop, but let's try to go to piano roll and check our performance. So here are the notes. Here are the notes. 1, 2, 3. Closed hi-hat is going on H2. As you can easily see, this is our pattern from here to here. 1, 2, 2, bang, 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 ding, bang, bang. But here is the note recorded twice. I will try to the beginning of this is here. Okay, I will shrink it again. So the beginning is here. We can, sorry. Okay, but you can play, of course, with them to cut the moment when you want to loop it and so on and so on. But basically, the goal that I want to achieve in this video is to show you how could you capture the styles, the drums from styles into FL Studio using MIDI data. Not samples, MIDI data. So now you can, you know, change the symbols to another samples, you know, use it to copy and so on. In the same way, you can record the fill up, fill down, the changing transition, and so on and so on. And now it's a pretty inconvenient way to, you know, show you all the things. But I would, my intention was to show you how you could achieve it. So basically, we have achieved our goal. Of course, with those data, we could use another great options. For example, using the MIDI out, we can send it back to Yamaha and to play it with the same, you know, notes again using MIDI out. You can send it, But okay, I think it's a topic for another video. So basically, if you have any question, if you want me to go further with these topics, because in the last survey that I have done on YouTube, 75% of you, thanks for all the votes, for all your opinions, voted to go deeper with FL Studio and other software and Yamaha connections, MIDI, and so on. So I think you enjoyed the video. We have some difficulties with the, screen recording, but I hope everything is seen. If you have any problem, just give me a comment and I will try to help you. Maybe I will, try to do it better next time. So it was BB Walker and see you later.